Los Angeles, California, welcome to E3 2017. This is the E3 Esports Zone powered by ESL. My name is Bill Jump Carter, and I'm your resident Sherpa to guide you throughout all of the action you will see over the course of the next 3 days. As a fantastic zone to see all sorts of esports action, we've got Vainglory coming up today with Quake Champions tomorrow and Thursday, as well as some giveaways and all other more in store for you and your viewing pleasure. But today, we've got $10,000 on the lines. 4 teams from across the nation have gathered together to fight their way through a glorious season. It is the Collegiate Star League 2017 Spring Championships for Vainglory. And to find out more on that information and what else you're going to see today, let's kick it over to the analysts.
Thank you very much, Jump. My name's Action Jackson here with Sweet Generis, and we are going to be bringing you some great games from the Collegiate Star League Vainglory Championship here for spring. We have the 4 best collegiate teams from North America playing today. Sweet J, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I'm super excited to see who is going to come out top as the best college team in North America. So I'm super excited to see what these guys have to show today.
Absolutely, and we've got some great casters who are going to be bringing you the action later on. Let's introduce those guys. Humanist Tasty Bacon, how you doing?
Thank you very much, Jackson. We are doing quite well over here. Tasty Bacon, are you ready for the CSL action?
I am so ready for this. I cannot wait to see 4 teams from all across the continent culminating here at E3. This is anyone who's into gaming, a college kid, this is your dream, is to be at E3. They get to not only be here, they get to compete on stage for for part of that $10,000 prize pool. Absolutely incredible. I'm kind of jealous. I wish maybe I had been born a couple years later. I could be involved.
You can't change that, but you're up here, you're casting now. This is going to be fun. We'll be up here calling the cast through all of these matches, but to get these games started and to break down the analysis, let's throw it back over to our analyst desk.
All right, thank you very much, guys. Look forward to hearing from you a little bit later on. Sweet J, let's start talking about these teams, though. We have 2 semifinalists in this first series. Then we're going to have our other semifinals. We are going to have a 3rd place match after that, and those are all best of 3. And finally, at the end of the day, we are going to have a best of 5 grand finals between the 2 teams who win on our first 2 series here. So very exciting stuff. Our first series is going to have Utah versus Seattle Pacific University. Very strong teams from the CSL.
Yeah, definitely strong. Utah 6-1 in the regular season. They only lost to University of Toronto Justice. They have Alta Jack as their laner, Disciple as their jungler, and TBS George as their captain. They're facing South Pacific University, who we argue could be the dark horse of this tournament. 5-2 in the regular season. They beat UMass, but they did lose to CSUF.
Yeah, and these guys, as we said, very strong. We do know lots about them from their performances during the regular season, and it's important to note, guys, we're playing single-ban draft, unlike the Vainglory 8 or any of those other Premier Leagues in Vainglory. That really puts a lot of onus on these teams to know exactly the right thing to take off the table in these series. Sweet J, on the current update that we're on, plus with the players in mind here, as we get ready for the first draft, what are we maybe expecting?
Yeah, I think that Grumpjaw is going to come out along with Vox as very top priority picks and bans for the team. It is single ban draft, so they will be very comfortable as that is what they see in a current patch in their ranked matches. So I think that Arden will also be a huge potential contention for captain here on both teams, as I did some competitive research, and they really like that captain in that support position to enable certain compositions that they want to throw out.
Yeah, it's certainly quite a strong pick here. I know there's a few other things that maybe are a little bit surprising that we might see on this update. If you guys have been playing Vainglory for some time, you'll know that Rhyme's been kind of out of the meta for a little bit. Sweet J, you were telling me you think he's back.
Yeah, he's back. He's great into Grumpjaw. He's great into double bruiser compositions that a lot of teams like to play. And also Baptiste is buffed this patch, so you could see him come out, and I would love to see either Seattle or Utah pull him out and really innovate with a very exciting composition today.
Yeah, we did actually see Baptiste play the Unified Western Live Championships in London recently with C9 making it work after we hadn't seen any at all up until that point. They actually went the distance and took home that championship. Very strong performance from them. And actually, seeing as we're here at the North American CSL Championship, it's worth noting, like, the North American meta, very aggressive. If you don't necessarily know what to expect today, that's a big thing we got to highlight, aggression from these teams.
Yeah, I'll really like to see how they're going to draft. Who's going to get that early game aggressive NA composition that we're known for, and who's going to take it in the early game and snowball here. So we're going to jump right into the draft, and Blackfeather is banned on the A side, and Koshka, typical North America ban, very smart from Seattle Pacific.
Yeah, this Ringo first pick is very interesting, though. I remember you telling me you think Vox is really the priority laner in the current update. But Ringo, how does he fare into a Vox?
Yeah, I think this is a comfort pick. Based on my competitive research, Ringo is actually a very top pick for a lot of these teams. So I'm not surprised that they picked it. Grumpjaw, of course, we talked about, is very strong in early game. It's a great pick from Seattle Pacific. And Rhyme is being hovered on that A side there.
Yeah, I was going to say, I love how they hovered that Rhyme immediately after seeing the Grumpjaw. Makes a lot of sense. We are seeing Grumpjaw with Vox, so two extremely potent picks from Seattle.
Yeah, I agree. Vox is great. He's probably the best weapon power laner right now based on the pro level in Vainglory scene in NA. And Arden is picked, as we talked about, predicted. And Rhyme comes out. Super excited for University of Utah here. Love to see that old wizard on the fold here.
Oh, I like the Kroll pickup into that Rhyme. It's very easy to stay on top of him, keep laying down those weakness stacks. But that being said, Arden with Rhyme, that's also a really great combination. So compositionally here, SweetJ, who do you favor as we head into game number 1?
Yeah, I really like Seattle's draft. Kroll is a direct hard counter to Rhyme. So what A side needs to do with Ringo and Arden and Rhyme, they need to get on that Vox, delete him, and then take care of the Kroll. If they play into Kroll, they're going to have a really tough time beating Seattle.
All right, this is going to be a very telling first matchup of the day here at the E3 Esports Zone powered by ESL. Let's hand it on over to our shoutcasters. We've got Humanist and Tasty Bacon.
All right, thank you very much, Action, Jackson, and SweetJ breaking down that draft. It looks like this is going to be a very entertaining matchup to start off.
Yeah, absolutely. A great draft. Excited to see Rhyme. Very excited to see Kroll, but not just a Kroll. Take a look at Andy Tran's build that he's starting with. Crystal Power on this Kroll. That means we're going to be seeing a very, very tanky and very difficult to kill hero.
Yeah, that Kroll, I mean, he's incredibly tanky when he goes this build right here. But right now, players making their way out onto the map, of course. We see Seattle Pacific rotating as 3, quickly moving the Vox up into the lane. It looks like early on, they're just going to go through some jungle rotations, maybe kind of avoid that early aggression here.
Yeah, it's going to be what they look to do. Both sides playing a little bit of a safer jungle start. Not really going to be going for any early game aggression, which makes sense. Both Rhyme and Kroll want to be scaling up a little bit towards the late game. They don't really want to get into any risky situations right off the bat.
Well, no risky situations here. We're going to see George hanging out, getting some of that ambient gold as Jack getting his farm early on with the Ringo here. Now, as far as this Ringo-Vox matchup, this is a pretty standard matchup all laners consider, though. Would you expect one player to have the edge here, though?
Obviously, you have to give a little bit of an edge to Ringo. He has that range advantage early on, but because of the changes to the itemizations, a lot of times we see Vox go for an early poison shiv, and if that's the case, then it starts to swing a little bit into his favor because he has the extra sustain that Ringo doesn't have available.
All right, well, we do see 3 from Seattle Pacific move up into the lane, and very quickly Andy Tran right back into the jungle. As they don't see an opening here. George really just spending quite a bit of time up in this left mustache brush, just hanging out, getting that ambient gold. Now he's going to check it out. Purple Bunny's there, slaps him, moves him back over to his side of the map, just lets him know he's there.
Yeah, and I mean, this is pretty standard, where early on, if you're not looking for any early game aggression, both of the captains just going to hang out in the lane, getting that ambient gold, getting a little bit extra experience. It's pretty much just the way a lot of teams end up playing. But look at this rotation.
Nice rotation.
Excellent scout trap, though, going to spot them out. But
yeah.
George sticking around a little bit.
He's grumpy, he's angry. Purple Bunny's jumped in. Jack, a big burst damage coming out, but he will be able to stay safe as they're very close to that turret there. It was a nice rotation coming out of Seattle Pacific here, though.
Yeah, very nice job. I like the idea of just trying to catch them off guard. Again, huge scout trap, though, from George. Put down early, spotted it out.
You see once again Purple Bunny jumps in with that Grumpy, just nice, slow, a nice damage coming out with a Hangry to follow. He's doing a great job for the Vox, who does struggle in that range matchup against the Ringo. So a nice job from the Grumpjaw to go ahead and equalize that there.
Yeah, I mean, Jack does have a bit of a lead here. You look at the CS numbers, 19-12. So obviously, side of Utah, they're going to hope that that just continues. But here comes the roam up from Disciple.
Yeah, Disciple making his first rotation up into the lane. He gets some Winter Spires out. That's respectable damage, but he's really just too slow to, lock onto one of these targets, follow them.
Not only that, but obviously hasn't been able to visit the shop yet either, so doesn't have any extra crystal power other than his base numbers. Now he's going to go ahead and start building towards a little bit more strength in the jungle. And so the next time he rotates up, gonna do a lot more damage.
Oh, Grumpy from Purple Bunny, he activates his Angry, he's on to Jack. Jack stands his ground with a Vanguard coming out of George. And it's pretty easy for him to just kind of stand right there, turns around, and dishes out that DPS.
And not really too much of a concern for him at this stage of the game. And again, we're sitting at the point where a lot of players have not gone back. It's really only Disciple is the only member that has gone to the shop since the start of the game. So once the recalls start coming through, that's when things are really going to start opening up, when these carries start to feel like they have a little bit more power.
Kind of wild to me, but I mean, they can break this down for me. I'm looking at Rhyme's items here. He chose not to go for his boots early on here in that first shop rotation. What do you think?
I think because it's been such a passive game, he feels like he doesn't need to prioritize the boots. They're not going to be looking for engage. It's going to be difficult for him to get onto Kroll and stay onto Kroll. And so they just are okay with saying, okay, we don't want to be rushing early movement because we're not going to be looking for invades. We don't feel like our opponents are going to be invading us. Therefore, it's not something that they need to be worrying about spending on. Just get the extra power, clear the jungle faster.
Yeah, it's interesting. Also checking out Jack's items here on this Ringo. I mean, he's choosing, I want as much weapon power as I can right away. I'm not even going to look to complete that tier 3 item.
That one's surprising to see 2 weapon blades come out, or heavy steels be picked up. And looking across the board, you've got a Corrigible now getting himself the heavy steel and the 6 sins. That's going to be going very likely into a Sorrow Blade first item. Not a typical Vox item path that we've seen on this patch, because as I mentioned earlier, a lot of players have been looking for a little bit more attack speed with him.
Yeah, up from damage. Andy Tran, they've caught him out in the jungle. That's going to be your first blood going the way of University of Utah, catching him out there. Maybe by surprise.
Yeah, definitely. We were just talking about the fact that they weren't very likely to be expecting an invade. Andy Tran, Purple Bunny both went for it. Ends up completely biting them, and well, that's why they said, you know, Rhyme, we don't need any movement speed, let them come to us.
Yeah, Rhyme actually taking advantage of that. I mean, getting the kill without the boots, but you look at Andy Tran, he doesn't have his boots either, so it's pretty equal in that regard. But Eve of Harvest completed on this Rhyme. A lot of sustain going to be coming out of this Rhyme now.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very difficult to take him down. He says, you know, you want to go Crystal Kroll, you want to stick around in fights forever.
Let's do it.
I will call and raise you in Eve of Harvest Rhyme. That is going to be so tough for the members of Seattle Pacific to take out.
Yeah, but I mean, as time goes on, as Kroll does get his items, as he does get these levels, though, he'll be able to stand his ground right there. Achilles shot, a couple bases coming out of Jack. He gets the Vanguard from George right back onto Purple Bunny. And Purple Bunny doing, once again, a very good job just frontlining for his Vox here in the lane.
The concern I'm going to have for Seattle Pacific as this game goes later is they're going to be relying almost entirely on Vox to do their damage. The Crystal Powered Kroll, yes, it's very difficult to kill, stay around fights forever, but it doesn't have a ton of upfront damage itself. It has to rely on using that Spectral Smite when you have full stacks on someone, but at the same time, you want to be keeping full stacks on someone of those weakness stacks. But right now,
oh, he's rooted. Chill wins another kill. 3-0, University of Utah. They're looking for some more. Andy Tran's up there. Purple Bunny jumps back in. Valkyrie's down. They're going to take the Grumchild, the Kroll as well. That's your ace. 5-0, University of Utah up over Seattle Pacific here very early on in this game.
Yeah, using their damage. They just have more items purchased than Seattle Pacific at this stage of the game, using that power strength to great effect there, finding that ace. They're going to take the first turret of the game, sub
just
7
let the minions take it. He doesn't even care.
Well, they were going for that gold payout too, so bring Ringo down, help clear that a little bit quicker. They know they're going to get the turret regardless, so really liking the play out of University of Utah at this point.
That was actually so clean. I mean, you get the ace, you get the turret, you get the gold mine. You take the mid-region away from SPU as well. Incredible plays. They put that, I mean, you look at the net worth right there. That was a massive jump.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this game had been fairly close in terms of the net worth. Now, all of a sudden, it's a 4,000 gold lead for the University of Utah. They're going to look to just keep snowballing this and start running away with the game if Seattle Pacific doesn't do something quickly in order to try and rein it in.
I mean, their burst damage, their upfront damage is already respectable. As you see Breaking Point start to come out on this Ringo, Jack over here, his sustained damage through these fights is going to be insane. Right now, just a great position. But Seattle Pacific, definitely, if they take a good fight, maybe catch someone by surprise, they can easily catch some fights their way.
And one thing that has me scratching my head just a little bit, Andy Tran, hit level 6 on the Kroll, did not take a point in the ultimate. And I understand when you're a Crystal Kroll, the ultimate doesn't do like the stun isn't quite as important because you're trying to get those stacks up, but it's a big stun regardless. Either your weapon or crystal power. It's just kind of strange to me. Maybe it was a mistap, maybe.
Oh!
Come on,
Gauntlet, you're caught out. Gauntlet's down. A lot of damage. He's rooted. The fountain keeps him alive, but he will fall. See if Utah can find another kill. Valkyrie drops. Andy Tran dropping low. Double kill there for your Rhyme. Purple Bunny, he's stuffed up. It's going to move back with Disciples locked onto target. This is going to be another ace. There you have it. University of Utah, 8-0, 8.5 minutes, and they're going to take the Crystal Sentry as well. I mean, just a bloodbath out there right now.
This should be another turret for them too, because they're not going to be worried about a Corrigible coming back into this lane. But one of the most impressive things for me there, they pretty much did that without Jack really doing a whole lot of damage in the team fight. He was shooting the Crystal Sentry almost that entire time. That was just
efficiency.
Rhyme. Just destroying Seattle Pacific right now.
I mean, we heard Sweej talking about it. He's like, I think people have been sleeping on Rhyme a little bit. Like, Rhyme is very good into our current meta. In this game specifically, demolishing.
Yeah, especially without any boots on the opposing team. You know, one of the Rhyme's difficulties is being able to stick onto a target. There's no boots on Andy Tran, no boots on Purple Bunny, only tier 1 boots on a Corrigible. He has no trouble sticking onto his targets, and that was why in that last fight he was able to just clean house.
Well, I really like what he did going for the Atlas Pauldron as his second big item here. I mean, they're already ahead. This completely is going to negate any damage coming out of Seattle Pacific. If he can get that attack speed slow off on them, it's going to be very good.
Especially with a Corrigible going for the breaking point first. Disciple reads that, recognizes it, going in.
Yeah, but Grumpjaw's there. He's going to get stuffed up, uses the ult to wait for it, silences out the Ringo. Ringo stands his ground, gets the damage, finds the kill onto Vox. And Purple Bunny, he's forced out before he can do anything. Andy Tran late to the party, still just going to try and play some games here. Jack, he got the Achilles shot. He's low on energy. Can't really follow up with that twirling silver. Purple Bunny over the wall. Once again, just trying to keep the positioning for his teammate, but there's not much to be had here.
University of Utah is just really stifling Seattle Pacific at this stage of the game. There's not many opportunities available to them due to just the amount of pressure and the itemization. Again, they recognize the damage from Andy Tran is not going to be that massive, so double Atlas Pauldrons from University of Utah, one on George, one on Disciple. They are just going to be completely shutting down the Corrigible. That's what they've been doing all game, and that's what they are going to continue to do unless a Corrigible can really rush getting himself a reflex block.
It's going to be tough. I mean, the reflex block is the item that you're going to be looking for, but what if Gauntlet's down? You got to choose your poison, pick your poison at that point, and there's the Gauntlet we were talking about. He'll walk right into the wall, stunned up. The damage isn't there to follow, as Grumpjaw had eaten up his ally. He's rooted, he's chopped down. Purple Bunny can't actually do anything. Andy Tran, once again, a little bit late to the party. He is here. Valkyrie off the mark. Purple Bunny over the wall. Andy Tran, he should be able to chase him down here. He keeps the fountain alive just for a second. Disciple boots forward. He's looking for Purple Bunny. He knows Andy Tran's already down. See if he can get that chill winds off again here. It's actually quite a fair cooldown. Purple Bunny able to get away out of that one. Dangerous situations.
Yeah, but still 2 kills going the way of University of Utah, extending this lead even further. 11 kills in 11 minutes for the University of Utah. They are coming in here to E3, and they are making a statement.
Yeah, I mean, usually when we're saying it's a kill a minute, and we're looking at both kills from both teams and saying, oh, it's a pretty exciting game. A kill a minute going to one team, that's just the bloodbath.
Not only that, they took out the Crystal Sentry once again as well. One more kill on that, and it will be done. It won't be in the jungle anymore. It will make this even easier for University of Utah because they will have just free reign of the Seattle Pacific jungle.
All right, well, right now, as that Crystal Sentry will be coming out on the map just a little bit later, we have an Atlas Pauldron coming out of Purple Bunny on this Grumpjaw over here for Seattle Pacific University. Maybe if they can find perfect positioning, get that Atlas off onto this Ringo and take a fight as 3. I mean, most of these fights have been 3 versus 2. Take a decent fight. We could really have a massive net worth swing in the opposite direction.
Very well could, especially with the shutdowns coming through. I mean, you've got Jack sitting and Disciple both sitting on 5 kill streaks. Those are going to be pretty hefty shutdown bounties if they can get picked up and if you get them on the right target. But Kroll just getting caught on his own there, nowhere to go, and now Purple Bunny might be in some trouble too.
Yeah, well, he's going to go ahead and eat up Disciple, move backwards here. Disciple's in a pretty bad position. Can he stand his ground? Crystal Sentry's there as well. This is about the best fight Seattle have had thus far. But a Gauntlet down, he separated Vox from his teammate. Vox standing his ground. He doesn't have the damage. He's down. Throws out his ultimate just at the end of it because, hey, why not? This will be another Crystal Sentry death and should be eliminated at this point. Bacon
Almost got Disciple.
University of Utah just on a tear right now.
Absolutely. They are looking very scary this game. And honestly, it's not even so much, there's not really much Seattle Pacific can do at this point of the game. It was just in the early game, they fell very far behind, and just Utah being so aggressive with that lead. They were very patient, but as soon as they got a lead, as soon as they felt like they were in control, they just turned the gas on and have not looked back.
No, they really haven't. And you know, if you're sitting over here, you got to wonder what's going through Seattle Pacific University's mind at this point. You know, if you're one of these members, maybe you know you're the team captain sitting up there. What are you telling your team?
I mean, I think at this point, you have to just almost start looking towards the next game. You have to just kind of just make sure you keep your emotion in check. Don't let yourself get too off kilter just because of one game. This is something that if you just shore up that early game, maybe go aggressive in the early game. If you're Seattle Pacific, try and find something to get Utah off their kilter in the next game. You have a chance, but in this one, they're so far behind. It's not completely over. I mean, we've seen comebacks from a 10K deficit in Vainglory before, but it is just so unlikely that I feel like you really just need to start focusing on making sure you stay mentally prepared for the rest of this series.
I think that's definitely a good point. Right now, what they're doing, rotating is 3, clearing out scout traps, getting vision down across the map. That's one of the best things they can do. Purple Bunny, he's going to move in. He's stuffed up, moves back. He does have Disciple inside, but well, yeah, I mean, where's your teammate? Purple Bunny's down, Fountain's out. That's not going to be much as the wait for it will silence out Utah, but just buys him a second. How about that crit? 352 damage coming out off that basic attack. And Jack, he's just shredding through Seattle right now.
Problem.
They don't care. Gauntlet's down. They're going to take this Vox Valkyrie on top. Vox can't get out. He'd be stunned up walking into that wall. They'll take the turret as well with no minions there to remove that buff off the turret. This is just insane right now.
It's absolutely ridiculous how strong University of Utah is at this point. There is, again, strange decisions being made by Seattle Pacific are just compounding onto this deficit they're behind. Right there, we saw Purple Bunny jumps over the wall, tries to engage a fight, eats up a priority target, and runs away from his teammates who were still trying to get around the wall. You got to figure just mistakes like that are things that are going to cost you in an event like this.
I mean, you got to imagine probably a communication thing, maybe lack of communication there. But right now, Kraken's being captured up. Purple Bunny once again on the front line for his team. Andy Tran's there as well. Purple Bunny's just chopped down, mowed down. Look at the breaking point stacks on this Ringo right there. Kraken's going to be unleashed for Utah. So she's angry. She's going to be marching down this lane. How do they stop this push? At this point, this could be all she wrote. A slow death here for Seattle.
It very well could. It very well should be the final push with Kraken and a lead this large, 12,000 gold to University of Utah. They're just going to be, oh my goodness, did you see that burst from the Hellfire Brew? That's going to be a Valkyrie coming down as well.
Rhyme! Always on time. Look at that. Andy Tran taking out Purple Bunny. Getting ripped apart. He's rooted in place. Can't even run away if he wanted to. Can't make it back to the healing platform. How about another ace for University of Utah? Only one Vein Crystal turret remaining. These are going down in short order. And game 1 going to Utah. Absolutely just smashing this match.
Not just a perfect game. 20 kills in 16 and a half minutes for the University of Utah. That is just a stellar performance.
Oh, Utah. I mean, these teams sitting backstage, our second set of teams that are going to be looking to play these guys, maybe later on today, taking notes, but that's a little scary.
That is very scary. I mean, we heard Swede over on the analyst desk talking about how maybe it was the California State was the favorites. I'm wondering if maybe he's going to be changing his mind here after seeing how strong Utah just looked.
Pretty phenomenal. You can see these guys up on stage looking psyched about that first game there. Really incredible stuff. And you got to wonder, I mean, was something banned away? Maybe that Seattle were relying on coming into this match here. Really tough getting into this next match. You mentioned the mental toughness that Seattle Pacific is going to have to bring into this next game here. We'll see if they can do that.
Yeah, like I said, it's one of those situations where it's almost better to just get completely stomped like that because it's very easy to just be like, okay, that game was a wash. Let's just forget about it. Let's refocus, come into this next one. Whereas if it was like this brutal, very close back and forth game, those are the ones that are really tough to recover from. So hopefully Seattle Pacific is able to get themselves reset, come up with a new strategy, and bring the fight to Utah in game number 2.
All right, well, good stuff there. We could talk about this game one all day long, but we have better qualified guys over at our analyst desk. So, Sweej, Jackson, what happened?
What happened is probably what Seattle is asking right now. Utah coming out of the gate swinging 20-0 in 16.5 minutes. That is an incredible performance from them in game number one. We were talking about how Rhyme was back. Right before that game, it was almost predictive. You know, after we see it do so well, Disciple got to be the MVP here in that first matchup.
Yeah, for sure. He played it well. He had a great build on top of that. He landed his combo, which is Chill Winds, which roots the hero, on top of Winter Spire. And he also had great skill shot with that Valkyrie ultimate, stunning the enemy team and getting a lot of clutch aces for the team. So definitely Disciple is MVP. And I got to give it to Utah. They had great rotations as a team. However, Seattle, they kind of played, they didn't rotate together as three a lot, and Cruel had a very interesting item, but I have to call that out.
I wonder if he did that for me, actually, because I was talking recently about how much I love playing Crystal Cruel. That was in Blitz, though, not in competitive, I got to admit. I think, you know, really, let's have a look at some highlights, because there were some great moments in that game from Utah. Really dominant performance. I love how Disciple would quite frequently just know that his team could do the damage and start moving on to the next guy already.
Yeah, this is the first ace that they got. This is the second ace, which pretty much sealed the game. From this ace, they continue to take objective, continue to put pressure. They extended that gold lead. They extended that kill lead. And Seattle could not even get one kill off Utah. So Utah played incredibly well in this matchup for sure.
They did indeed. All right, let's refocus on game number two, though. We got to put ourselves in Seattle's shoes. What do you do differently? I feel like, yes, you picked up Vox and Grumpjaw. Yes, those are excellent heroes on the current update, but you know that Rhyme could come out, and now you know that it will. So maybe just ban it away if you want to pick up something like a Grumpjaw. They're on A side now. That does change up their strategy a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's a great strategy on A side. Disciple just played Rhyme so well, so proficiently. I think that's a very smart ban that they should consider, unless they have a counter to that Rhyme and they want to pick like a Sky on that A side into that Rhyme, because she's very good into Rhyme.
All right, guys, you can see on your screens right now the University of Utah and Seattle Pacific University gearing up for game number two of our first best-of-3 semifinals. The winner of this will be playing in our grand finals, which is best of 5 later on today. Both of these teams are hungry for the lion's share of that $10,000 prize pool. Let's head into the draft. Seattle Pacific University on A side, ban away the Koshka.
Yeah, Koshka and Blackfair, it seems like they are the two top meta picks that they tend to ban, as they did in game one here. So I think Seattle will probably take a key captain hero, but they're hovering over their Rhyme. They might take their Rhyme away. Baptiste makes some sense. He can be flexed as a jungler or a captain, but they're going to go ahead and settle for Lance here, which I like because Lance actually counters Rhyme.
Ah, interesting. So they're kind of preemptively striking against Utah's game one game plan. Right now, though, Flicker being locked in. This is a pick that we saw very little of during the Spring Unified Live Championships, and it used to be very, very strong. Has it made a bit of a resurgence here, Sweej?
Yeah, and Flicker is an interesting pick into Lance because Lance actually performs well against Flicker because he's really good at, you know, knocking Flicker off his Githian wall to protect his carries. Rhyme is very good into Flicker because he can stand his ground and fight. So very good picks by Seattle, taking away a comfort from Disciple. And now University of Utah needs to think about their strategy here.
Yeah, they definitely do. And Adagio would be an interesting pick for sure. Taka going to be the lock-in, though. So now they're suddenly turning up the aggression a little bit. Flicker known for his early game plays. You pair that with a Ringo and a Taka. Is this composition just trying to end things quickly? Which Utah, I mean, we know they can.
Yeah, and I think that if they combo Ringo's ultimate with Taka, they can delete the Vox immediately here. And Flicker is going to be able to lock the Vox down. So I think Utah has a very good draft, but I think Seattle has a chance here. As long as they rotate together and support each other, I think they can take a game.
Especially if that Rhyme gets off to a good start, you know how much he can run away with it. He doesn't need to build that much damage last game, just going for an Eve, then straight into an Atlas. It's going to be interesting. I think we're going to have to keep our eyes on the Rhyme play here, compare it a little bit to Disciples' Rhyme play in game number one. But guys, we're on to the Halcyon Fold. Let's hand it on over to our shoutcasters one more time. We got Humanist and Tasty Bacon.
One more time, guys. We are into the game here. Seattle Pacific University versus University of Utah. This is the second game in this best-of-3 series. Utah just shredding Seattle in game number one. Let's see if Seattle can come back here.
Yeah, and this is going to be a really difficult task for Seattle Pacific if they do not invest in vision early and often. You have a Flicker and a Taka on the other side of the fold. They are just going to be trying to be as much of a nuisance as possible.
Oh, definitely. I mean, Flicker is so annoying early on to deal with, especially as a laner there. We'll see how Jack tries to play this, getting, maybe Achilles shot off into one of the slows coming out of Flicker here. But Flicker stealthed up in this brush, just kind of biding his time, waiting for Vox to take some steps forward.
Yeah, as long as he hangs out in that brush, he will stay invisible. And once he decides to go forward, just gets to sneak attack and maybe just waiting for a Corrigible to go a little bit too far forward in this lane. But now he's going to know he's there because he sees those passive shots bouncing off. And that's one of the great things about Vox is if the opponent is hiding in that brush nearby, you can actually kind of spot them out a little bit with that Resident.
Oh, definitely. I mean, that's one of the big things. If you're hanging out in that brush right there, Vox's attacks bounce. If you're in range, it's going to bounce to you, so you got to be careful. We'll see if George is a little more careful in his positioning moving forward. Currently, we do have Purple Bunny up in the opposite brush. He's waiting just in case there is an engagement. Maybe waiting. He could actually get an impale onto Jack. I think he decided to take that step forward, but they're playing very cautiously. We're going to see George moving forward. Now here we go. They're on to Corrigible. There's your Achilles shot. The impale's off the mark. He gets the Sonic Zoom back, but it looks like they're going to try to go for it. Can't find it as a turret shot does hit Jack there. Purple Bunny getting a lot of damage to Corrigible. If he even got a bouncing attack right there, probably could have got the kill. George, got to be careful. The impale's there. Purple Bunny wants some. He's under the turret. The Githian wall as well. He's slowed up. They turned it. They killed him. First blood to University of Utah, overstaying his welcome, getting punished for it.
Both teams going a little bit too aggressive, but it ends up being University of Utah that's able to capitalize on the over-aggression from Seattle Pacific. First blood and first blood bonus going to be going over to Utah, at least for Seattle Pacific. That bonus went onto George and not onto Jack.
That was a really close call right there. Let's see how they're going to play it out here in the next few moments as we see Andy Tran rotating up. That's the impale's going to land. Githian wall back on the Jack, but a Corrigible is not following up. There's so many minions. He's playing it very carefully. And being rooted up by the Flicker there means he cannot chase forward, and that's going to be a free teleport home for Jack. That's just money in the bank.
And so for the side of Seattle Pacific, they're going to have to start playing a little bit more aggressive. They need to make those opportunities count. They need to capitalize and find some kills. They have yet to really make any sort of aggressive movement against the University of Utah other than that turret dive for Purple Bunny that didn't pan out. So I'm just hoping that they don't sort of get cold feet as a result of that and decide to just play more passive once again, because we've already seen what happens when they play fully passive and University of Utah starts to turn it up.
I mean, you definitely get the feeling watching these matches that Purple Bunny is leading the calls, leading the charge going into these fights, and sometimes to the detriment of his team, he's a little too far forward. If they can tighten that up, I think they can easily start to take some kills off of Utah here. Let's see, Corrigible's going to be slowed up. Once again, Flicker on the backside. The Achilles shot comes out. He's rooted. A lot of damage. Githian wall back. Jack's low, but they find the kill. Jack uses the potion. Get it. One more attack. Lance gets him. Purple Bunny gets Seattle on the board, finding a kill, but 1-2 in favor of Utah here. About 4 minutes into this game, a little bit more action early on.
Yeah, definitely a little bit more action, and a lot of that is due to just there being a Flicker. Flicker is pretty much synonymous with early action. I'm kind of surprised we haven't seen either of these junglers try and get involved yet, especially Disciple on this Taka. He is going for a Crystal Taka route, so that's just going to make him all the more annoying. Tons of burst and plenty of sustain in the middle of fights can make him very difficult to deal with, but both sides, these junglers just trying to be passive, just farming up. You can see their CS is about even as Andy Tran, we're waiting for him to go to the shop for the first time still. He's going to visit the jungle shop now and see what he goes for. Again, just going to look for an Eve of Harvest first item. I like that pickup on Rhyme.
George with the fairy dust slowing. Corrigible stands his ground. He's going to get that fountain coming out, so he does stay alive. Purple Bunny doing a very good job as the captain of this team, keeping his laner alive. And if he can do that, Vox will eventually get his tier 3 item built up. It's going to be dangerous.
Going to be very dangerous, but for now, I'm just want to see where these build paths end up going. George and Jack going to be pushing in onto this Lance.
Yeah, Lance doing okay. Purple Bunny really abusing that durability of the Lance here. It looks like some lane minions going to be wasted as Corrigible a little bit laid back to the lane as he did dip back to shop. Now, right now, it's Disciple, the guy that you were talking about, waiting to see when is this guy going to start to make an appearance. And we see Seattle rotating down towards the jungle shop. They might find this Taka down there right now. And I believe it's Taka kind of trading with Andy Tran down towards the jungle shop. They're going to be okay with good damage coming out. Andy Tran's there. X-Retsu over the top. Disciple's going to go ahead and get the kill. 5.5 minutes in, 3-1 University of Utah starting to build a slow lead. Can they get this mid-region camp here? Purple Bunny trying to deny it away. It's going to go the way to Taka. Impale off the mark. You got to get back, buddy. Taking a lot of damage. Crystal Sentry's trying to help him out. Gets the wall, lands onto 3, but it's not enough. Once again, Utah really starting to just pull ahead here.
Yeah, as soon as they start to feel comfortable, they go for these aggressive moves all the time, and this time it is working out once again. 4-1 kill lead for the University of Utah, and taking out that Crystal Sentry for the first time very early in this game. They are setting themselves up for another hard snowball.
One of the snowball heroes you do not want to deal with is Attack. And despite Attack, I can go for Shatterglass first item, still finding impact. That is quite scary. But I'd like to hear you talk about this item. I mean, do you agree with it? What is it going to bring to this game?
I agree with it because they have a lead. When you're already ahead and you just go for that full-on big damage item, it's perfectly fine. If it was a little bit closer, if they were trailing, that's when I feel like you have to go for the Aftershock as the first item. But because they've got the edge, because they feel so confident, just going for the flat damage numbers, I have no problems with this.
Well, it's going to be a lot of damage coming out, a lot of healing in that Kaku as well. We do see George move forward onto stealth with that scout trap behind Purple Bunny. They're revealing him out, so he won't be able to move in with that stealth as easily. Also seeing that top brush above a Corrigible in the lane. He's got another scout trap. I really like that. Purple Bunny doing a great job to keep his laner safe here.
Yeah, and I mentioned earlier in this game, the vision was going to be absolutely essential with a Flicker and a Taka, so making sure to get a couple of scout traps down. Want to see some more throughout the map, though. As the game gets later and later, they're going to be needed absolutely everywhere, perhaps even a contraption game as a result of what your opponents have picked. But you see some flares, some more traps getting picked up, so Purple Bunny definitely understands how important the vision's going to be.
George moving over, trying to clear out these scout traps. Being quite cautious there, you can't blame him. Impale's gonna miss out of Purple Bunny, lands his own scout trap down. Trying to clear out that vision. Pretty good job. Hellfire Brew's gonna be wound up. Oh, a Corrigible is getting erased. Now they're onto Purple Bunny. Gets under the safety of his turret. You can see Utah doesn't want to get down there, but they're maybe gonna take away some jungle here. It's like Andy Tran, he's found Utah trying to defend the jungle, but an X-Retsu over the top, some Chitin and Jack there with the basic attack damage coming out. They really just can't stand up to what Utah's bringing, and this is going to be a gold miner going their way as well.
Everything is coming up Utah in this best of 3, let alone this game, as now it's going to be a nice route from Purple Bunny, but can they find enough?
Purple Bunny, he's making the plays, man. Purple Bunny, this must be a tough one for him. If he goes down here, he had a self-found him to stay alive, trying to let the Crystal Sentry do some work, but Crystal Sentry's gonna go down at the end of this as well. He just pulled him right back over to it. His teammates aren't there to go ahead and defend that Crystal Sentry, and now this is like all your jungler now belong to Utah here.
And they're gonna go ahead and just take it. Andy Tran poked his head in and see, hey, what's going on down here, guys?
Nah, I don't think so.
And then immediately shut the door and walked away.
Oh, that is not right. Utah, they're going to move in. Double stealth, a Corrigible, crit up with the first basic X-Retsu over the top. The snowball has started to roll, picking up some momentum right now and hitting like a truck. Seattle, this is such a tough position to be in. I'm really not jealous here.
Yeah, it's I'm a little jealous of Utah's position. I wish all my games could go this smoothly as this series has for them thus far, but they can just have to keep this pressure up. That's really all they need to do. They're completely in the driver's seat. You see more and more damage going to be coming out as Disciple looks to go towards a broken myth on this Taka. You've got Jack picking up that tornado trigger. Gonna be a little bit of extra crit, a little extra attack speed.
Oh, so nice. I mean, that tornado trigger, when you're ahead with the Sorrow Blade, it just shreds, tears people apart here. George's going to try and hold the lane. Not able to quite do that as he moved up there with the stealth, so maybe a minion or two is going to leak through. Jack able to clean up the rest. Jack doing a pretty good job. 9.5 minutes in, 96 CS, about 10 CS a minute. That's what we would expect out of these guys. Purple Bunny slowed up. A lot of damage coming out of Jack's Ringo right now.
And that just goes to show like the lead that this Ringo has. You were talking about the 10 CS a minute or so. 101 CS compared to the 59 that a Corrigible has. That is a massive lead that he has built up.
Yeah, it's a massive lead. And he's just throwing out the Hellfire Brew for harass. Why not? I mean, he's got it. He's not going to be using it as like an assassinating kind of move at this point right now. They're actually getting damage out onto the turret. He jumps forward. X-Retsu Disciple. It looked like they would be going for the turret. They're like, we'll just take the kills. George able to get out of there. One more turret shot would have taken him down, but he's going to be quite healthy. They see Andy Tran, Disciple. Kites over the top. One basic, looking for more, trying to dodge out. The Winter Spire's doing a good job. X-Retsu over the top here. One more attack, he's able to get it. It's actually, the Bleed's gonna be able to take it. Now Crystal Sentry is just in the line of fire, is going to go down as well here. University of Utah, they look at the map, they decide what they want, they just move out there and take it.
Yeah, they are just taking absolutely everything as they're gonna go ahead and grab this gold miner once again. That'll be a pretty solid little payout for them to go over. 189 gold for each member of the team, and just extending this gold lead up now to about 8,000 gold in their favor. And big items being completed here. Broken Myth and a Crucible finished off for the side of Utah.
That is not what you want to see if you're Seattle Pacific right now. The Broken Myth coming out on this Taka. Taka, who's already having a good game. Disciple sitting 3-0-5 right now. Can do almost anything he wants. It just means as they start to get into these fights, he will only get stronger as time goes on. Pretty dirty move right now out of Utah. Just absolutely picking Seattle Pacific apart from top to bottom. They haven't made any mistakes. No obvious mistakes through this game at all. It's almost flawless.
Yeah, I mean, other than that one kill, it's the only thing preventing them from working on a second perfect game in a row here. So as they just continue to push up, again, just choking out Seattle Pacific, not really giving them any breathing room. However, Seattle Pacific trying to move up. They still have a chance in this game, but it is slowly slipping away.
It definitely is. I mean, you talked about last game as that 10,000 net worth mark kind of being that mark that we always go back to, where you say, okay, like we've seen teams come back from being 10,000 down in their net worth, but it doesn't happen that often, but it's still a possibility. We're getting to that point again in this game, and it feels like based off game one, it very low chance that could actually happen. George trying to get that slow out onto Corrigible. Jax there with the damage. Corrigible able to get away from this one with the Sonic Zoom. But surely, if a root lands there, he's going to go down. I mean, this is just a knife's edge. Every single one of these engagements, it's so easy for Utah to find the kills. It's so hard for Seattle to stay alive.
It really is, but Seattle's gonna have to find a way to stay alive if they want to be able to move on, if they want to stay alive in this tournament. It is a best of 3 semifinal, and Utah has that one-game lead. So if they can close this one out, they will be moving on to the finals just like that. So
nice flare.
Yeah, very nice flare. Gonna spot out Disciple, but now here we go.
Into the wait for it. That's about the best engagement they could have asked for. And the Alice Paulgen landed by Purple Bunny as well. Hellfire Brew's gonna be wound up. Connects through. A Corrigible just melted from beginning to end there. University of Utah not losing a member through that fight. Such a clean engagement coming out of Seattle, and they're not able to find a kill off the back of it. That hurts.
It absolutely hurts, and like you said, it was almost a picture-perfect engage for them, but Andy Tran wasn't quite able to be close enough to get involved. If they combo, the wait for it with a Valkyrie coming down, that's big, but right now, again, Utah just in control.
All right, it's going to be Chitin probably over the top from Disciple, who waits for that X-Ret, so he's in there anyway. Lance is down. Now Andy Tran, nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Double kill for your Taka there. Now 13-1 in favor of University of Utah. They're trying to get up to that kill-a-minute mark they had from game one, but 14 minutes in, this is just disaster for Seattle.
Now, well, the one saving grace for Seattle is that they haven't really pushed the turrets too heavily on the side of Utah, but it looks like that is about to change as they are shoving this wave of minions into this turret, and it's going to fall quick.
I just like to think that it's an investment opportunity. If we don't take those turrets, we'll wait until we know we can take it for sure. Then you get the money. That's just gold in the bank right there. Huge net worth lead, about 12K net worth lead for University of Utah at this point. A very slow, methodical game coming out of Utah, and just a slow death for Seattle Pacific.
Very much so. There's going to be, now again, more tier 3s finished. You've got Jack had just finished off a breaking point for himself, so his damage is just going to ramp up in these fights. They really haven't been focusing too much onto Andy Tran when the full team fights happen, because they know he's going to take a lot longer to kill, but now they will have the means to do so, as they just are going to ramp their damage up. Kraken has spawned, will be looming over the fold, and look at this vision control that you can see. So many scout traps put down, but they're all red.
Yeah, they are. I mean, we talk about, obviously, okay, University of Utah, they have 2 heroes on their team that can go into stealth, right? So it's very important that you control vision when you're playing against Ataka, when you're playing against the Flicker. But I think it's equally important for the team that has those heroes to control the vision. Right now, they've done such a great job. A lot of credit over to George, but a credit to this whole team, just taking control of the whole map.
And unfortunately for Purple Bunny, just kind of in a situation where you want to be able to buy these utility items that he's got, like the Alice Pauldron, the Crucible, the Fountain, but you also want to be investing in vision, and it just becomes so difficult to try and choose which of those 2 you need to prioritize at any given moment. Here comes the Mooncloak.
Yeah, they're also infused up right now. Well, Disciple waiting to pop his X-Retsu. Look at 549 damage to start it up. He never had a chance. He's down. That's going to be the 14th kill for Utah. And Purple Bunny, a Cordial, I don't know what the plan actually is. You better get out of there. Boots activated for a Cordial. 85-second cooldown on his boots here. And this is a perfect Kraken opportunity. Jack probably looks to shove the lane. I actually don't know what Seattle look to do here.
Yeah, they have to try and figure out something, because if this Kraken gets unleashed again, I feel like that may just be the beginning of the end. They're gonna come in, they're gonna realize it's being a taken. Can they find a steal? 2 on 3, but Kraken is doing work. Here comes Hellfire Brew.
Hellfire Brew looks like it should. Maybe it didn't get blocked off. Crucible did come out there, but right now it's being captured up. Can Purple Bunny get in there? He's so close. And oh no, that's not the one he wanted. Fox able to actually steal that one away. It's about the best play Seattle could have hoped for, but they got to be careful. You don't want to get aced here on the backside. Nice 2-man get the end wall. Fox stands his ground, but he's dropped at the end of it. Andy Tran decides to run. He just showed up to the party. Purple Bunny doesn't have the Fountain. Double kill for your Ringo. That's going to be a triple kill. Will be your ace here. And now they just move in. They're going to take the Kraken. They'll take the gold with it as well.
19 stacks on the breaking point for Ringo. 1 away from capping that out during that fight, but they do have to go deal with this Kraken because it was stolen away from them. Seattle Pacific, a glimmer of hope as they steal that Kraken. Will extend the game at least a little bit. They take a turret. It's maybe just delaying the inevitable at this point, because they still have not been able to come out on top in a team fight, but that last one was pretty close.
I think that impale from Purple Bunny, I couldn't see anything but that. The one that went to the south. I think the same thing happened to Utah. They were like, what? Oh, the Kraken going the other way. Anyway, they're able to clean it up. 1 turret will go down, so Seattle able to take at least 1 objective off the map. Feels pretty good for them.
It's got to feel good. I mean, again, you can claw your way back into a game. That's one of the big things about Vainglory in general, is even if you fall way behind, if you just stick to your guns, you get a lucky Kraken steal, you can start finding a ways back into this game. You can shake your opponent's morale, and maybe, just maybe, you can find a team fight. Nice job actually finding George there, but here comes Hellfire Brew.
Hellfire Brew once again blocked off. Purple Bunny, nice, a great job. It's come in the Mortal Wound, and they just erase the Vox here. Once again, a 3 versus 2 situation. Andy Tran can't even run away at this point. And so much mobility coming out of this talk. I don't think Purple Bunny can get away either. X-Retsu kiting over the top. Just trying to buy some time here. He's getting very low. They might drop underneath this turret. Impale buying a little more time. Not going to be enough at the end. Another ace for University of Utah. 20-1. They've surpassed their kill a minute mark.
I love what they just did there, though, for Utah. They sent just Disciple and George to finish off that ace. Jack went into the lane, grabbed the minion wave, and started pushing it in so that they don't have to wait for these ace buff minions to get to the base. They take down that choke point turret. They decide to back off here, though. Even though it would have been a 2-on-3 if they had stuck around, they just want to play it safe. They don't want to take any risks and possibly throw this game. So they're just going to play it safe, head back to the jungle shop, top up their infusions, and get ready for another fight.
Yeah, I think playing it safe, it can be a positive, it can be a negative, but I think when you've been flown into E3, you're up on the stage, you're playing for the championship here, it makes sense to pull back on the reins a little bit. You don't want to make any mistakes. Don't get too far ahead of yourself.
Seattle Pacific, again, the game stalls a little bit longer, but it's just, they haven't really looked cohesive when it comes to the actual team fights themselves. So I want to see them fight as a unit. Just all I want is one fight where all 3 of them are there ready to fight at the same time. That last engagement we saw, Vox had a beautiful wait for it. The other 2 were busy running away.
Yeah, I think we really need to see Rhyme up on the front side of this fight, follow Purple Bunny in. Now it's going to be the wait for it, comes through, silences out the captain here, but Disciples in with the X-Ratsu, Kiten over for the top. I mean, each one of these abilities is like half of his health bar he's taking down. Andy Tran, all he can do is try to stand his ground. A double kill coming out, but going the way of George. Look at the captain from University of Utah, 4-0-16 at this point. That's pretty good.
That is a ridiculous
and that's
scoreline.
very much an understatement.
Yeah, they're going to be going ahead, picking up this Kraken. No one here to contest it this time. It's not going to be stolen away. And with that Siege utility, they should very well be able to end this game because they are just in such complete control.
Yeah, Utah, from the beginning to the end, game 1, game 2 here, really a force to be reckoned with. We talked about the teams that are watching right now. Yeah. It's like, what have you actually learned about this team besides the fact that they're pretty competent from top to bottom?
I would almost, I almost hope that the other teams aren't watching this because you're going to be watching this and then lose focus on your semifinal
right?
because you're seeing how strong Utah is here. So they're going to have to worry about that when it comes to it because right now Utah is potentially going to be looking to end the game here.
All right, well, Utah marching in. They did capture up that Kraken, and Kraken will be the front line here. Use that Mooncloak, just getting them right on top of Seattle. Seattle trying for this last stand. Doesn't look like it's going to happen to Cordial, getting melted. Finally, they get some damage out into Disciple. Kraken's still very healthy. Jacks through. The last Vein Crystal's turret drop. This is going to be the Vein Crystal going down. University of Utah putting on a show here in our first series, taking it 2-0 in this best of 3 up against Seattle Pacific University. I mean, this is one of the top 4 teams in the CSL for Vainglory. And to dismantle them on the stage like that's impressive stuff.
That's very impressive stuff. University of Utah, clearly a force to be reckoned with here today in the CSL Spring Championship. You can see them, they're not even like stoked about it. They're just like, yeah, okay, business as usual. There we go.
There we go.
There's some energy. But they know that their work is not done. They still have the finals up ahead of them. I got to figure they're going to be getting ready, scouting out their opponents in our next semifinal.
They got to soak it in. They're like, did that just happen? That did just happen. We just wrecked Seattle Pacific University. Well, congratulations over here to University of Utah. That was really impressive stuff. Yep. I haven't got to see too much footage on them, and I was really expecting a little bit closer of a series coming into this one.
Yeah, I think a lot of us were, but obviously Utah, they just stepped their game up. They came here ready to play, and like you said earlier, just dismantling Seattle Pacific piece by piece. Congratulations to Utah getting to that finals. And again, I'm worried for whoever is going to have to face them.
Well, I'm worried for anyone that has to listen to our casting as we do go on. But right now, we'll throw it over to Action, Jackson, and Sweet Generous at our analyst desk.
Thank you very much, Humanist. What a game we just had. Utah taking the series very convincingly in 2-0 fashion. They actually had over a kill a minute in both of their games. That's absolutely incredible.
Yeah, they played really impressive. They have great decisive rotations. They engaged a lot, and Seattle just played too defensive, too reactive. I felt they even had a counter. Lance and Rhyme counters Taka and Flicker. So I felt like Utah came here and they're like, we want to win a big part of that $10,000 prize today.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I mean, I do feel like Seattle had glimmers of hope right at the start of that game. There were some close fights, but they went a little bit too deep under the turret. And after that point, things just started to, slowly fall apart. Utah looks absolutely awesome, though, heading into the finals. They're going to be watching our next semifinals, I'm sure, with bated breath. Let's have a look at some replays from that last series. So you can see it was just kill after kill going to the University of Utah.
Yeah, and the story here is Utah just continues to pick off Seattle one by one. And you can see they're always together, 3-man rotating, picking off kill after kill. Their synergy is really on point today, and you can see why it's important. This game is really a MOBA. It's based on teamwork. If you guys rotate together, you focus on a hero, you can get a lot accomplished, and that's exactly what Utah showed us today. Even playing into a counter composition, they did extremely well with their Taka and Ringo synergy. So really good job upon Utah. Seattle played a little better with atomization. Vox had a great build. Rhyme had a good build as well. Lance had a great build, but they weren't able to lock down and fight around those corridors to get that double root in. Lance and Rhyme has a double root.
And this won't be the last you're seeing of Seattle today, as they will be playing in a third-place matchup after our next series, which is going to be our second semifinals. You don't want to miss it, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. poke his head in, find some damage, but Druid is an insane surge strike, dives all the way into the back, picks up the kill. Palma might go down, hit by the one-shot, one kill. Druid once more. It's another ace for Phoenix Armada. You just can't fight them right now.
Here comes Zero as well in a lower, and they should turn it around. Bowler dies to the fire. Avengers is dead. Looking for the chase, Yonju takes the kill. Up towards the side, Status jumps in though, and he'll take one for himself.
Oh, they're turning! They're turning on them!
Hi, my name is Old School. I'm here to kill you. It's gonna be a dead Willie right here.
Use the vortex!
Wow!
Oh!
Nice! That's the ace!
Caught up in the gauntlet once he gets onto him, but he gets stunned as well. And now here's the Dragon Pet trying to get the chase off, get the award on Monty. Chuck in the front line, gets caught up in the goose. Aloha will take him down, there's a snipe.
Oh my God! They're gonna find one more. This is gonna be the ace that they take him down. Status goes down. The regoose, unbelievable for Phoenix Armada. Willie stunned up and turn around for the front. Like a bounce from Red, keeps him alive. Willie's dead. Wrecked on the front line. Status around the backside. Old School's doing work. Old School going in. What do you do in this situation? Oh, I do not know if he can do this. Status is pinned in. Mango looking down. Old School on the backside. Status goes for it. Old School gets it. Big stars. What? Taking three. Woo!
The game right here. Best Chuck nearly died on the Sanctuary. Humanist, Phoenix Armada, they're doing it. They want to take the first World Championship by storm in style. Phoenix Armada are the first victory World Champions.
Wow, this is all I can say. Sportsmanship, cheering crowd, everyone has goosebumps.
The Vainglory community, it's all about love.